Just wanted to introduce Aaron Halil. So Aaron is a dear colleague who was introduced by Ricardo Cabello, the 3JS project originator and still leader. And Aaron built just some amazing websites with 3JS before joining the Chrome Partnerships team. He redid some of the Google Store stuff. They didn't take all of this stuff because it was too leading edge and like, oh, what if we had the 3D right there on the page at the beginning instead of having to click through to it? And they didn't take his ideas, and then Apple went and did it at the Apple Store. All right, so anyway, he's ahead of his time. He built one example was a full a living room that you could talk to, and the Google Assistant would basically respond to you as you were talking to your web browser, doing voice rec, and like turning on the lights. Totally cool. Anyway, so thank you for joining the Chrome Partnerships team. And since then, Aaron has been doing a really awesome partnership with Crayola, which is a network connection that he had from before his time at Google. So thank you for doing it, and welcome, and please.
Thank you.
Look forward to it.
Thank you.
Check, check. Can everyone hear me? All right. Thank you for your patience. And again, thank you for the warm intro. And again, Lisi, thank you for the logistics setting us up today. If I could find my cursor, we'll be in business here. There we go. Got like the pilot navigation, everything's backwards. But anyway, thank you, and welcome to the Crayola Create and Play case study preview. As Ken mentioned, my name is Ron Halil. I'm the Strategic Partnerships Manager for Chrome Browser. Specifically, I oversee advanced and progressive web apps, and my focus is on 3D graphics and web AI. I've been at Google for just over 6 years, and I have over 12 years of experience in 3D and interactive partnerships. As also Ken mentioned, I led Google Store's adoption of a low-poly 3D asset pipeline and WebGL frameworks for Pixel and S demos online. And prior to Google, I oversaw Warner Brothers' theatrical campaigns, including Ready Player One, Rampage, and Tomb Raider. And I managed Crayola's partnership with the AR developer Daiquiri, if anyone's heard of them, back in the day, in launching their first AR products, Crayola Color Alive and Easy Animation Studio. And since joining the Chrome team, it's been an honor and a privilege to reconnect with the Crayola team and their exclusive mobile app developer, Red Games. And I'm going to give just a quick overview of the Chrome partnership with Red Games before going over the main agenda and the tease for the case study. And so beyond Crayola, Red Games is an industry-renowned developer of family-friendly digital entertainment. They're also the exclusive mobile app developer for the award-winning Create and Play app, which is the #1 app for kids on the Apple Arcade. And they were also seeking new ways to scale Crayola's business, not only the core business with consumers, but education program offerings as well, and meet the future needs of a broader audience in addition to the partnerships that Crayola brings to the table. So the app is written in Unity, and it is a very large one, weighing in at a hefty 2 gigabytes. And so making it quicker or even instantly accessible is very much a challenge for Red Games and Crayola, which then made a natural partnership with the Chrome team. Chrome browser is a champion of advancing a more open, capable, and instantly accessible web for everyone, especially when it comes to advancing rendering performance and graphics APIs across all platforms. And so helping to speed up browser rendering by tapping into the power of the GPU was a critical piece of Chrome's strategy that also helped give Red Games the confidence that a comparable web version was possible. And so we recognized this was a unique moment for accessible and family-friendly entertainment to come together, and we came together to do so and form this unique partnership based on web accessibility for consumers and educators alike. And again, just a quick look at the agenda. We'll jump into the production plan, some of the known areas where we knew we had to focus, the challenges and solutions, the results since the port and the launch, and the benefits of bringing your app to the web, and specifically using Chrome. And again, these are the development focus areas, first and foremost. So when it came to asset loading, communicating to the player what was happening on screen was a known engineering challenge. Again, from a Unity perspective, since the mobile app is front-loaded, making the sequencing of assets something that had to be really nailed down when brought to the web. And another part that needed to translate well is the aspect of coloring, the actual user behavior. And ensuring a comprehensive device audit was helpful here to determine that the experience did in fact translate well to touchpads, cursors, keyboards, and styli. And the overall conclusion is it was still fun to play. And that has to mean fun for everyone, because kids and schools often have lower end devices or hand-me-down to ensure that WebGL rendering, even on those older devices, would still run excellently across browsers and platforms. But it wasn't all fun and games, very much intended. Let's look at quick glance at some of the challenges and solutions that arose during the production plan. And again, these will be dived into in a little more detail when the case study is launched. But in addition to the loading screen, the big and related challenge was voiceover. The app uses a lot of VO to guide the users with the experiences, making the contextual playback in real time critical to gameplay. And again, a known engineering challenge, since the mobile app is front-loaded, was devising a custom lobby so that we could actually facilitate the loading of screens on the web. Slow internet, something we're experiencing a little bit today, but I think it's getting better. It was something we had to account for, always with Chrome. And so expanding the device pool, again, to the lowest common denominator in QA and load testing was what we needed to do. And in the end, the team spent over a month looking at optimizing for the web, loading times, how to communicate when loading, how to look at the game, what device is being used. Essentially, any universal thing that could be improved was looked at. And by splitting the scenes into asset bundles, the initial download size was ultimately decreased to a point where it was far superior to the mobile version. I'll get those numbers in a bit. Finally, payments. Mobile in-app payments are fairly seamless, so it can be a bit of a challenge when you're handing off between a WebGL app and a payment system, and you want to do it in a way where you're able to constantly communicate to the user what's going on. Fortunately for Red Games, they already built out some online support from payments for previous promotions feature they had done. So they were lucky in this case. The case study will explore some alternatives if you don't happen to have some of this functionality already in play. And now we will go on to some of the results. I'll be mindful of time here. But what we've seen since the web launch is more classroom use. Several classrooms already are using Chromebooks, and the web works on all devices, so not needing to download an app and access to an optimized classroom version made the value proposition that much easier for teachers to bring Create and Play into the classroom. It's also unlocking more opportunities from Crayola for Red Games. And so in addition to education programs, Red Games is gaining interest from the extended Crayola partnership community, who will voice that instant access to immersive web experiences is extremely attractive to new business partners. And engagement. The engagement is comparable with the app version, which suggests a very positive nod of performance. And I'm going to share some numbers in a second. But last but not least, the positive feedback that we're hearing from teachers is just heartwarming. A special version for the classroom is available for these low-end devices. And teachers have been so vocal about not just the value proposition, but this, again, is a very popular app. So it's not about just bringing a tool into the classroom. It's something the kids are familiar with and have a very strong affinity towards. And last but certainly not least, we'll get into the benefits of Create and Play since launching the web from the Chrome perspective. And so again, the education partnerships are key. So again, many classrooms are using Chromebooks, they're using screen share, they're using smart boards. And so making that app-only option is very much a limiting factor. And so web accessibility helps a larger audience of students and teachers. And we've seen a 380% increase in teacher account signups. Also, instant access for free play. So users are no longer faced with that choice of downloading a 2 GB app for a free trial. And again, a comparable experience to the mobile app is available on the web to experience immediately. And again, we're seeing that with the dwell time, which is coming in an average of 25 minutes per session. In addition, Chrome is also a channel for discovery. So Chrome is a new funnel to acquire and engage players, enables business growth through paid advertising, and more meaningful ways to engage with parents. And Creativity Week is one of Crayola's biggest promotional events with educators. And so Crayola Create and Play was able to easily integrate into their comprehensive omni-channel marketing plan that was already in place. And finally, bringing the app to the web also contributed to best practices for engineers. Chrome and WebGL helped improve asset management strategies for loading, caching, and memory usage, which also contributed to improved performance on mobile thanks to DevTools. And bundling the Unity scenes and identifying other assets being loaded at app start that weren't necessarily needed until later reduced the initial load time by 50%. Then utilizing broadly compression on the assets brought down another 50%. Altogether, load times ended up around a quarter of where they were, or 75% quicker. And to recap, Chrome's browser commitment to a more accessible web and next-generation graphics aligned with Red Games and Crayola's business's objectives. Bringing the app to the web, optimized for Chrome browser, enabled more access to a broader Create and Play audience, education programs, deeper partnership opportunities, improved performance, and engineering best practices, ultimately benefiting kids, parents, and teachers by making the app easier to bring into the home and the class. With more awareness online and in some free trials without downloading a very large app. And as mentioned, we'll be publishing a joint case study with Red Games a little later this year, shortly after I/O, so please stay tuned for that if you'd like to learn more about how Unity is using WASM to reuse their game engine and assets to improve performance. We're very proud of the access that this partnership unlocked for kids, parents, and teachers, but the developer enablement is why I'm excited to be with you all today. And anyone out there who is thinking about bringing their app to the web, especially one built in Unity, now is the time. So please stay tuned for the case study on web.dev. Thank you for your time, and I hope our success with Red Games and Crayola is something that you can take as a next step for your own success. Thank you. I know we're over, but any quick questions? Great. Thank you.
Good question. Is Unity still the engine for the web, or it's a custom engine?
It's using Unity.
So as part of the build size, I guess asset bundles pretty much took care of that. What was the build size for this type of application with Unity? I don't know if you remember.
Prior to the port, it was 2 gigabytes and getting bigger.
Ah, okay. Yeah, because I kind of, especially my experience, it's like I think I capped it at 200 megabytes and it starts crashing on the iPad. And I guess it's just, yeah, especially with Unity. But I love it. That's how I develop apps, especially WebXR apps. I love it.
Bring it to the web?
Yeah, with the web.
Okay.
Will there be PWA support on Android XR?
Will there be?
PWA, installable PWA support on Android XR?
You know what, I'm not sure.
I don't know. Maybe as branded later, not sure.
Thank you.